Michael. This will be a spoiler review. I have a review up on my blog, soundedbettermyhead.com. That should be pretty much spoiler free. Although it's essentially following Michael's life, so if you know a lot about Michael Jackson's life, I don't know how much is this going to be a spoiler. I would give this a very generous 3 stars out of 5. It's not that great, but I was a huge fan of Michael Jackson growing up, and this film really covers the era where he was at his peak, and it just really brought me back to that era when all the bad stuff didn't happen yet, and he didn't really have all the allegations, and he didn't get as weird as he kind of got. He was like right in his prime, like where people would still want to dress up as Michael Jackson, and still like I said, he was the man back then. And it did take me back to that. And I always, obviously, in the back of my head, I know that things got bad, and there are seeds kind of planted to where it's going to end up going, but if the film doesn't take there. But again, I think I was very generous with 3. But I said I loved Michael Jackson's music. It was fun watching a recreation of a lot of his greatest moments and concert and videos. So it's like a movie I could probably watch again if someone's like, hey, we're going to go see it. Do you want to go see it with us? So I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'll watch it again. It's not a great movie, but just for the subject matter I enjoy, I could watch this again. Realistically, this is probably a 2-star movie, if that. From my understanding, there was massive reshoots on this. Supposedly the movie was going to start off covering the child molestation accusations against Michael, and then it was going to kind of flash back to like the rest of the film. Supposedly there was some kind of legal loophole from one of the victims that cannot be depicted in any kind of a film. It seems like there still could have been some kind of a workaround where they could have put it in there. Like you didn't have to maybe name the kid. Like I don't know how specific this rule was that it completely derailed what they wanted to do. But anyways, they found a more arbitrary stopping point, and you could tell in the back half of the film, it's just not, something's just not narratively working. The start of the film is what you would expect. Michael is a kid, Jackson 5 gets a start, Dad's an asshole, stuff you would expect, but it's a good, solid start to the movie. It's I don't think you could do too differently. I mean, sure, there's ways to make it better, but it tells a story. It's pretty down to earth, and the kid playing young Michael's pretty good. I don't know if he's doing his own singing or they're just using Michael Jackson recordings, but either way, it tells a story. I like the beginning. Get to the middle, it's still fine. I think the middle's still fine. He starts kind of trying to break solo. You can tell that's where it lays the foundation that the film's going to be about him breaking away from his father. That's what the narrative arc's going to be, is that, I need to kind of stand up to my father and do my own thing. I think this is when Jafar Jackson steps in, Michael's nephew. I think he does a really good job. I think overall they make him look like Michael, which is tough because Michael's face changes a lot. Even in this era already, he made some cosmetic choices. So I think with a different makeup, I think Jafar usually looks like Michael. Sometimes you look at him like, no, that's not Michael. But once he's in the costume, once he's singing and dancing, it does create the illusion that you're watching Michael Jackson. Like, he does a good job with the performances. I think he does a good job with the acting, trying to humanize him, trying to make him, and the script also tries to really let you know, no, he's kind of screwed up, but this is why. And you feel some sympathy for him. It's like, it doesn't get too deep. It's just kind of like a little bit surface level. They move some stuff around. Like, they bring Bubbles into the story a lot earlier than I think he was in real life. I didn't investigate too much difference between reality and fiction. I know they did point out Bubbles actually is later in his career, which makes sense because he was kind of more considered normal at this point in the film, where owning a champ and some of the more eccentric behavior didn't happen just yet. But it's fine. I don't think it screwed up the narrative that badly, if really at all. And as I said, after that point, it's a little back and forth, conflict with his dad, trying to get his career going. It's interesting, but it's not super interesting. I think they overindulge a little bit. I know there's a point where they showed a Thriller video, and they show him stopping and wanting to tell the director that, hey, I think we should change the camera angle because of this. It's showing his creativity and how he's, not just standing there. He's not micromanaging, but he's an artist. He's really trying to say this is going to make it better, which is fine. And then it just kind of recreates like a good chunk of the rest of that part of the Thriller video, which is fun to see, but it's like it's not really telling a story anymore at that point. Maybe you cut back to the director. It's like, wow, Michael was right. Bringing the camera back and showing his feet was a great idea. Like it doesn't happen. I think it just kind of turns into like a fan service at that point. They even go on a touch too long in like the Don't Stop Till You Get Enough video where they're kind of showing like part of the video and like the special effects with those multiple Michael Jacksons. Again, it's fun seeing it. It goes on a touch too long where it's like, okay, now you're not really telling the story anymore, but it's fine. So there's not a lot to talk about the movie. It's just Michael Jackson's general career. They get into the accident with the Pepsi video commercial. If it's as bad as it says it wasn't there, it's a lot worse in real life than I thought it was. I mean, he got hurt pretty damn bad from this thing, third-degree burns and all that, and surgeries. So it's like, man, it was, again, it's like with the way he was at his character arc at that point is pretty devastating. And again, at this point, you're kind of like, okay, well, where is this movie going? Because I think it was about 20 years into his career at that point, and obviously Michael lived to be in his 50s, and it's getting almost to where stuff starts getting kind of bad in his career. And then again, narratively, like, where are we going? Where's the stopping point? Because I know that they were ahead of time; they weren't taking it to the end, and then they just basically he starts his tour for the Bad album. And then it just stops, and then that's the end of the movie. And then they kind of do a Michael Jackson Will Return kind of credit on the screen, which is a little bold because critically the critics are bashing this movie left and right. The fans are loving it. I think financially it's going to do pretty well. I don't know where you go with the sequel. If you can't use the child molestation part of his life because of the legal reasons, I think it's just a disservice to people that know the truth about like how bad his career got. Even though the stuff wasn't true, it was a part of the second half of his career, and he can't avoid that. He can't just be, well, he changed his face again, and that's what we're going to cover, or he started kind of going bankrupt at one point. Like that's not compelling. So I don't know how. This is like, I don't know. It's a weird stopping point. It's like going right from Anakin as a good Jedi to Darth Vader like too quickly. I don't know. It's a weird flow. I don't think that's a great analogy, but it's kind of the ballpark what I'm thinking what a sequel would have to be like, and still trying to like make you feel bad for the guy. And if he really did some of the stuff he did, you still have to feel bad for him. At least I could see, given context, okay, it was wrong. I see why he was thinking the way he was thinking, but it's still wrong. Like this film kind of did a little bit of that, putting those seeds in there, like why, he did some questionable things later on. They also make him seem almost saintly here, like he's always trying to help people out, signing autographs, going to the hospital. And I think there was a lot of that really going on in Michael's. Like I said, again, he had a potentially a dark side, but that really didn't come to light yet. So I think that the film, is on the part of his, like I said, it's in the honeymoon stage of his career where everybody's loved him, and it recaptures that magic. And again, like later on that things got bad, so it is kind of ignoring it, and I can see why people have a problem with that. But if you just kind of if you like the Michael Jackson's music and his early career, and you just want to sit in there and kind of relive it a little bit, and you do want to get some backstory to some of the stuff, and with his home life and his some of the stuff he created, this is a solid movie for what it's what they're trying to do. If you're expecting something more out of it, and you wanted to really get into like the bad shit and this and that, you're gonna be disappointed. But I don't know. I enjoyed it overall. It could have been a lot better. Just musically, if you just like the songs, you just tune out and listen to the songs. There's enough of them that keep you happy, I think. But that's about it. I just wanted to get a little bit of the nuance and talk about this thing with spoilers and not have to worry about anything. So that's about it. Again, I do have that spoiler-free version of this review up. I have some other reviews up, TV shows, movies. I got a comic strip that I do. I got all that over at soundofbettermyhead.com, so if you want to check that out, that's awesome. And other than that, thanks for watching.